He said to me, there used to be millions of them. Millions upon millions. And when one stopped, another took its place. And when a million stopped, another million took its place. Millions upon millions upon millions. And this happened every day, all day, everywhere around the world. Every day, every week, every month, every year, all the days, all the weeks, all the months, all the years. I said to him, we shouldn't change the air. He said, it's not that simple. Events set in motion by population growth and the Industrial Revolution required more efficient distribution methods to deliver food and medicine and services, all meant to benefit and grow society as a whole. I said, our words don't intersect. We shouldn't change the air. Because this home is not ours alone. Because this home is sacred. He said to me, they thought the sea would save them. They were told the sea would absorb whatever changes they made to the air. And given that the sea was so vast, there seemed little reason for worry. The ocean seemed endless, and endlessly deep, and forever cleansing, and giving of life, like they always had been, and always will be. I asked him, but were we changing the sea? He said yes, and far too quickly, though to most it was impossible to tell. But the change was systemic, rapid, and permanent. The waters acidified and began to wipe out the lowest organisms on the food chain, the plankton, which not only provided food for larger aquatic creatures, but also served to absorb the changes being made to the air. And so the waters, in great irony, became like deserts, and millions of species became extinct, and so the air could not be cleansed, and what was put into it remained, suspended for all to breathe. I said, I don't understand how this could happen, because this home is not ours alone, because this home is sacred. He said to me, they found a way to feed everyone, though it was based more on want than need. They wanted the meat and milk of animals, so they bred them by the millions, hundreds of millions. These hundreds of millions of animals needed to be fed, so they grew endless fields of crops just for them. And when the hundreds of millions of animals consumed these crops, they fermented them in their stomachs, producing methane, which they would release into the air. In turn, this methane trapped heat at 20 times the rate of CO2. And this happened every day, every minute, every second, by the hundreds and hundreds of millions. I asked him, did they have to eat the animals? He said, no. They could have subsisted just as well on the same crops grown to feed the animals themselves. But they didn't want to. They liked consuming the flesh of animals. I said, I don't understand. If breeding animals to eat them harms the air, and we don't need to eat the animals anyway, then why do it? Because after all, this home is not ours alone. Because this home is sacred. He said to me, "It's obvious, of course. Everything they call value comes from here. Air and water and food for all living things. But it's more than that. They gave value to compounds buried beneath the surface, and so they extracted them. These compounds, in turn, were forged into materials for use, or refined into fuel, or sometimes simply admired for their beauty. Over time, they gave these materials and fuels more value, since these provided not only the things they needed, but the things they wanted as well. More and more compounds had to be extracted, more and more materials forged, more and more fuels refined. I asked him, did they value these materials more than the air, the water, the food? He said, it seemed that way. In order to produce the things they wanted, industrial waste and byproducts were pumped into the air, dumped into the water, and buried beneath the ground. It was deemed more efficient this way, as the value of industrial production outweighed the value of the air, the water, the soil that produced the food. I said, I don't understand. How can anything have more value than air, water, and land itself? Because this home is not ours alone. Because this home is sacred. He said to me, the science was known, and known to be accurate. Sophisticated measuring tools and sound methodology ensured this, at least to the scientists. But to those whose actions mattered most, other things were more important. For most of their history, they felt themselves chosen to expand their domain in ever-increasing numbers, chosen to tame that which is wild, chosen to proclaim authority, chosen to subjugate that which they could. This extended to all aspects of the world, all aspects of life, and over time, it became who they are, who they were, and who they always will be. I asked him, but who or what chose them? He said, they chose themselves. They created elaborate fictions and philosophies designed to support their sovereignty, to uphold their authority, and to promise its permanence. But the irony was, they had changed the world. The more they sought to control it, the less it could provide what they had originally sought from it in the first place: sustenance, health, happiness, life itself. I said, I think I understand. They are each a world unto themselves, and their home serves them and them alone, except when it's gone.